took arms to gift the joy we don't possess today, to end the pools of blood and tears all the way, to win again the precious things we lost on early day, darling daughters, sons, so once diminishing but emerging with time back to a great deal. Sri Lanka has been suffering from this social crisis. 21st of July 2007 marks the strength which turned the crisis away. It was the conflict with the LTTE faced by every Sri Lankan leader which was turned away from that day. It happens with the decision made by the LTTE, the strongest and the most powerful terrorist organization in the north and eastern province, to close the Mavillaru Anicut, causing many difficulties to the common people. Since the government was unable to turn a blind eye to the plight of the innocent civilians, they had no option but taking a hard decision on humanitarian grounds in order to open the Mavillaru Anicut again. Then the terror which has been unleashing on civilians by the LTTE during the past 3 decades was answered by the Sri Lanka Armed Forces. They made the LTTE to turn back, just like the Mavillaru water current. The horrendous tale of the Northeastern terrorist organization begins on the 27th of July in 1975. That is with the assassination of the governor of Jaffna, Alfred Dorayappa. Velupille Prabhakaran and Uma Ganeshwaran, who appeared the leaders of the LTTE later, were found suspicious for this crime. The assassination of Dorayappa was made a model to these young armed groups. They used to follow the same primitive method in order to suppress the ideas that are against them. By 1978, these armed groups were quite capable of killing thousands of innocent civilians, including Sinhalese, Tamils and Muslims, as well as politicians and young Sri Lankans who were not in accordance with their political agenda. The sole purpose of this was to plant terrorism in the country in order to spread their political opinion throughout the area. The contemporary power-hungry Sri Lankan government also provided them with a favorable atmosphere. Being incapable of using another option, the LTTE, who had created a monopoly in the area, was continuously practicing terrorism by 1984. They exploded bombs in the north in a large scale. Moreover, they disturbed the activities of the army and police and damaged the entire administrative process by conducting many armed conflicts and forcing people to contribute to the Elam. The people were compelled to accept the concept of Elam because of their threats. Therefore, the north and the eastern provinces were turned to a war-torn area by 1987. One-third of the Sri Lankan land is crippled, making no contribution to the national economy and thus the total income. It is with same two-thirds of the sea area as well. Hence, the national income gained from the rest of the two-thirds of the land has to feed the whole country. That is the reason why the Sri Lankan government decided on a major attack to the LTTE in 1987. But the LTTE wins the sympathy of India, and with the Indian interference, the history of peace agreement begins. As a result of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution was suggested, the armed groups were supposed to lay down their arms and support the civil administrative process.
Of arms at the Palali airport. Defence Secretary General Sepala Artigala, in a symbolic gesture, touched the single pistol placed before him by a member of the LTTE cadre. The General said, "This will end the bloodshed and Sri Lankans will again live in harmony in their native land." But the bloodshed continues to this day.
Although the other armed groups agreed to lay down their arms, the LTTE was shrewd enough to mislead his Indian friend and started another conflict. This time, the Indian peacekeeping forces had to confront it.
अरे देखो देखो गोली की आवाज आती है चलो चलो जल्दी करो जल्दी